I have my Omega on and I'm in a manual Aston Martin DBS. Really, life doesn't get much better. If I was 37 minutes late to the most important meeting of my life, but I was able to drive this to the meeting, I wouldn't care. Hey guys, today we are in a 2009 Aston Martin DBS, fitted with a 6-speed manual transmission. Today we're gonna take out the DBS and see why you should pick one up on the used market in 2025 before prices potentially get too high, as manual supercars is sadly a thing of the past. First impressions, I am already in love with this car. Like, I've been driving it for not even 5 minutes. So we are working with a 6-liter, 5.9 liter, naturally aspirated V12, 510 brake horsepower. That is, at the time, about 40 horsepower more than the DB9. 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Top speed of only 191. And I say only because the previous Vanquish, which this car sort of replaced, could top out at over 200 miles an hour. This DBS is currently for sale here at European Exotic Center in Tampa, Florida. And for those who don't know, this is the more sort of sporty, hardcore version of the standard DB9. Lots more holes, lots more carbon fiber, and it just has a really nice stance to it. I love the hips on this car. Oh, and being a V12, it's such a buttery smooth power delivery. The way it revs through the power band is just so satisfying. And the clutch is light. It is a very chunky gear lever. It's shaped kind of weirdly. Behaves fine. It's a little bit rubbery, but who cares, right? You hear that and you just, everything else is thrown out the window, right? This could be the worst driving car of all time. Like, I'm talking PT Cruiser convertible with the flames on the side and the wood panels. Bad. And I would still love it because of how good this car looks and sounds. Those are really the only things that matter. That is why you're buying an Aston Martin. Yes. Yes. That is my review. Thank you so much for watching. The car also has carbon ceramic brakes, which are fantastic. Great pedal feel. Actually, the first Aston to come standard with carbon ceramics. Now, we do have the newer Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, which is a fantastic car. But really, when they think Aston Martin DBS, you're thinking about this car. This is the one that everybody loves. So sitting in the DBS, honestly, pretty spacious interior. I'm 6'4". I've got about an inch or two of headroom. Legroom is great. Just overall space. Seats are comfortable, they're snug, but they're not too aggressive. I like that it has matte carbon fiber before matte carbon was cool. Everyone keeps knocking the ride quality of this car. I don't think it's that bad at all. You know, is it 50% stiffer than the DB9? Sure. It's not backbreaking or anything. It's not world ending. This is still a GT car. It's still catered to be a GT car and to dominate long journeys. As Jeremy Clarkson once said, he would be happy to drive this to the south of France, and then he'd be happy to find out that when he got there, he left his swim trunks, because then he could drive it all the way back again and just enjoy it over and over and over again, even if it gets in the way of life or being late. If I was 37 minutes late to the most important meeting of my life, but I was able to drive this to the meeting, I wouldn't care. I have my Omega on and I'm in a manual Aston Martin DBS. Really, life doesn't get much better. Yeah. This car is a depression cure. Okay, this Kia is going real slow. How am I driving? Terrible. Awful. I actually might text the number, to be honest. This is absurd. Another thing too about these cars, really all Astons, they're just viewed at differently by the general public than, say, something like a Lamborghini Aventador that I was just in. This is a car that just, no matter what, if you like cars, if you hate cars, if you are a jealous person, everybody loves this car. Everybody loves this car because it's such a beautiful thing. Like, I am doing other people a favor by having them look at my Aston Martin. I don't care if I'm seen in it, right? If you're an Aventador or a Huracan, you kind of want to be seen in that car. In the DBS, I don't care. Tint the windows 5%. Just let everybody else admire the beauty. It's buttery smooth. Revs to, I want to say just over 7,000 RPM. There's no red line physically present for some reason. Everyone just looks and smiles. Even if they don't know what it is, they think, well, that's quite pretty. I could put on my turn signal right now and just cut this guy off, and he won't get mad. He'll be like, oh, come on in. If I was in an Aventador, eggs would be splattered all over the back of the car. I could run over this guy's foot, and he'd be amputated, and he'd be like, oh, but it's an Aston Martin, it's okay. It's just part of life. Surprisingly, about 40% of DBSs were fitted with a manual transmission. It's a bit more than I thought. I was thinking maybe 25%. Just under 1,000 manual DBSs made, and they're rare, but not that rare. However, the difference is currently on the used market, they are rare. This was really the only manual DBS that we could find currently on the used market. But that is the difference, right, price-wise. Owners are holding on to their cars. Let's even got some like natural burbles. So regarding the Aston, market value-wise, some people do think this could be an investment car, and I think it could be. I think any V12 that is especially paired with a manual transmission is going to do quite well long-term. However, the other car in the Aston lineup that kind of messes potentially with this car's future investment potential is the V12 Vantage S, or just V12 Vantage with a manual. They put this engine in the Vantage as well, and now this is no longer your only V12 manual Aston you could buy. So that could hinder things, I feel like, because you could just go get a even smaller, sportier Aston with more power than this. However, if you were to buy this car, I really don't think you lose any money on it. Another thing as well is, what else would you buy besides a manual DBS? Well, if your main goal is to have a manual, then really not too many other options besides, I suppose, Porsche. This, of course, did compete directly with the Ferrari 599, which, as a technical achievement, is a more impressive car than this. This is definitely a little bit more old school feeling, which I think is actually to its advantage. And it feels nimbler and just tighter overall, I feel like, to drive on normal roads. The 599 is very floaty. Phenomenal car for the money now for 150K, but it feels big. This doesn't feel nearly as big. This car weighs about 3,700 pounds, about 150 pounds lighter than a DB9. Yeah, this or a 599, I would have this just for the style sake alone. And turn-in is pretty sharp, to be honest. Steering has some decent feedback, decently weighted as well. It's not as darty or quick as, say, a Ferrari 599. I should just shut up, to be honest. This is, I feel like, one of the final just true Aston Martins, like fully Aston Martins, before they went to all the AMG powertrains and interior. This does have the absolutely abysmal Volvo sat-nav unit. Gloss right over that, because you don't need to know where you're going in this car. You just drive and you figure it out. This is my favorite era of Aston Martin. It was like 2005 to like 2017. From the DB9, the original Vantage, to the latest Vanquish S. Part of that, of course, is nostalgia, but I just love how these cars look. Still one of my favorite taillight shapes of any car. The new cars still look good, but this is just quintessentially Aston Martin. And I do think this is the best era of supercars. It is my favorite era. Early to mid 2000s, late 2000s, a phenomenal era of cars. Everything now is kind of, it's all V6 hybrid. It's all kind of copy and paste of each other. Every car now kind of feels the same, or at least very similar. This was from an era where every car felt completely different from each other. You hopped into a Murcielago, then into a 430 Scuderia, then into a manual DBS, and they were completely different experiences. Was I 9 years old when many of these cars came out? Sure. So it is partially nostalgia, but I can't help but just realize that these cars just feel so much more. This doesn't have back seats, thankfully, but if it did, they would be completely useless. They're in the DB9, and I don't know why, because You have to be either 7 seconds old or you got to be a pirate. Start off first. Oh, sorry, you just ignore the moans. Looks are subjective, but in an Aston Martin, it is objectively beautiful. If you don't think this is an absolutely bite the back of your hand, jaw-droppingly, otherworldly, stunning car, you are wrong. It just is. It is the law. It is fact. It is proven. Now, with that out of the way, is it as pretty as the DB9? I feel like on paper, probably not. The DB9 is just a sort of smoother, curvier, almost bubbly look to it. Definitely not as aggressive. However, is this a sexier looking car than a DB9? I think so, yes. The flared nostrils, all the extra holes in the bonnet. Yes, I'm saying bonnet, I'm not saying hood. It's kind of muscular looking compared to the DB9. We just got in a manual DB9 as well. Look at them side by side. This just has a much better stance to it. The extra duckbill spoiler in the back, the carbon rear diffuser, it just looks mean. And of course, part of this car's charm is if you are a James Bond fan, this car starring in Casino Royale was a huge deal. Arguably one of the best Bond films of all time, of course. If you like James Bond, you're gonna like this car. Oh, you don't even have to be going quickly. You could just be going at 4,000 RPM and just let it sing. And what I always found kind of amusing with Astons is that you look at this perfect shape, this perfect looking car, and it looks sort of innocent and just classy. And so when you get in it, you're just simply not expecting it to make a sound like this. It's like, oh, no, I'm still a psychopath. Now, the most common color in the DBS was Storm Black, which is what this car is. There were a handful of different silvers, and there was this beautiful green, like Aston Martin Racing green color that I think they only made a handful in. That's my favorite color on this car. Maintenance on these cars does tend to scare people quite a bit, which understandably, but it does seem like this era of Aston, honestly, all the V12 and V8 cars don't really have too many mechanical issues. I mean, they're a lot more straightforward than the internet makes them out to be. Like, we just sold a 55,000 mile straight piped DB9. But of course, you know, get your car looked at, take it to a trusted independent shop, such as ourselves. Brakes do squeak. That is an Aston Martin signature touch. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one.